The clock is ticking. 6 days. Just 6 days remain until May 19th, 2026. That is the date that marks a clear line between the world we know and the world that is coming. In Mountain View, California, the atmosphere is heavy with a sense of historical importance. At the Google headquarters, the lights in the development wings are staying on until the early hours of the morning. Every engineer, every researcher, and every designer knows that they are about to unveil something that will redefine the human relationship with technology. We are standing on the precipice of the launch of Gemini 4. This is not just another incremental software update or a slightly faster chatbot. This is the moment the industry has been racing toward for years. It is the leap that transforms artificial intelligence from a passive assistant that waits for your commands into an active agent that anticipates your needs. The global digital stream will soon carry this revelation to every corner of the earth. People from Tokyo to New York and London to Sao Paulo will be watching as Google attempts to reclaim its throne as the undisputed leader of the intelligence age. The question on everyone's mind is no longer if artificial intelligence will change our lives, but how quickly it will happen. Subscribe now to witness the live breakdown of the artificial intelligence revolution next week. The story of Gemini 4 is the story of a massive shift in how computers actually work. For decades, we have used computers as tools. We click a button, and the computer performs a task. We type a prompt, and the computer gives us an answer. But Gemini 4 represents the birth of the agent. An agent does not just wait. An agent understands context, sets goals, and executes complex chains of logic without needing a human to hold its hand through every single step. This shift is the reason why the stakes for May 19th are so incredibly high. Google is not just releasing a model. They are releasing a digital companion that has been built on an entirely new architectural foundation. To understand where we are going, we have to look at how far we have come. It feels like a lifetime ago that Gemini 1.5 Pro was the gold standard. That model introduced the world to massive context windows, allowing the artificial intelligence to read entire books or watch hour-long videos in seconds. It was impressive, certainly, but it was still a static observer. The rumored architecture of version 4.0 changes the game by introducing a reasoning engine that operates with human-like logic jumps. It no longer just predicts the next word in a sentence. It predicts the next logical step in a multi-year project. One of the most whispered about breakthroughs in Gemini 4 is the concept of long-term memory. This is what insiders are calling persistent context. Imagine an artificial intelligence that does not forget who you are the moment you close the chat window. Imagine a system that remembers a conversation you had 2 years ago about your career goals, your favorite books, or the specific way you like your code to be structured. This is the long-term memory breakthrough. It allows Gemini to act as a digital twin, an entity that grows alongside you, learning from every interaction and building a massive, private database of your life and preferences. This is a complete departure from the ephemeral nature of current models like those from OpenAI or Apple. This memory is not just a storage bank. It is the fuel for what Google is calling the coding revolution. Within the halls of Mountain View, there is a name that keeps coming up: Project Oscar. For years, developers have used artificial intelligence to help write snippets of code or to find bugs in a single function. Project Oscar is different. It is rumored to be an autonomous software engineering agent. It does not just suggest code, it builds entire applications from the ground up. It can identify a problem in a massive codebase, research the solution, write the patch, test it across multiple environments, and deploy it to the cloud. This is zero-shot software engineering. It is the move from simple autocomplete to a fully functioning member of a development team that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever getting tired. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The implications of Project Oscar are staggering for the global economy. If an artificial intelligence can handle the heavy lifting of software maintenance and creation, the barrier to entry for innovation drops to almost zero. A single person with a good idea could potentially manage a platform that serves millions of users, with Gemini 4 acting as the entire engineering department. This is why the competition is feeling the pressure. OpenAI and Apple have spent the last year trying to catch up to the reasoning capabilities that Google has been quietly perfecting. The rumors from within the industry suggest that Gemini 4 has achieved a 50% reduction in latency compared to the current top-tier models. This means it thinks faster, reacts more naturally, and feels less like a machine and more like a collaborator. But as we look toward the 16th of May and the eventual launch on the 19th, we have to realize that coding is just the tip of the iceberg. The way this system handles personal data is where the true revolution lies. We are moving toward a world where your artificial intelligence knows you better than you know yourself. It will manage your schedule, filter your communications, and provide insights into your daily life that were previously impossible to see. The speed at which this technology is evolving is breathtaking, and the urgency in the tech community is a testament to the scale of what is about to be revealed. We are not just talking about a new app. We are talking about a new way of living in a digital world where the boundaries between human intent and machine execution are beginning to disappear forever. The countdown is on, and the world is holding its breath to see if Google can truly deliver on the promise of a digital twin that never forgets. As impressive as the coding and reasoning engines are, the true test will be how it integrates into the messy, unpredictable reality of our daily lives. Wait until you see how it handles personal data, because that is where the real power of Gemini 4 will be felt. Transitioning from theoretical potential to practical execution requires a deep dive into the technical heart of Gemini 4. This is where the magic happens, specifically within the new reasoning engine that Google is calling the next frontier of logic. In previous iterations, artificial intelligence models often struggled with multi-step reasoning, losing the thread of a complex problem after a few stages. Gemini 4 changes this by using a revolutionary architecture that allows for 10 times the reasoning speed of its predecessors. Official documents for the upcoming May 19 event have already begun to tease this. The schedule specifically mentions a keynote session titled The Next Frontier of Logic, which insiders suggest will be the moment the world sees the full capabilities of this reasoning engine. Leaked internal data suggests that Google has achieved a massive 50% reduction in latency compared to the current benchmark set by GPT-5. This leap in speed means that the interaction between a human and the machine will finally feel instantaneous, removing the awkward pauses that have characterized interactions for years. When we look at the core pillars of Gemini 4, 4 key technical advancements stand out as the foundation of this new era. First is the 10 times reasoning speed, allowing the model to tackle problems of immense complexity in real time. Second is native multimodal processing, which means the system perceives the world in a unified way, processing visual and auditory data simultaneously with linguistic information. Third is the 24/7 personal agent integration, moving from a tool in a browser to a background process that is always active. Finally, we have zero-shot complex software engineering, which is the cornerstone of Project Oscar. This is the ability to take a high-level command and execute the development cycle autonomously. As we move deeper into the technical specifications, the rhythm of development shifts toward human-like understanding. One significant change is the implementation of what engineers are calling the infinite context window. While previous models could hold a specific amount of information in their short-term memory, Gemini 4 is designed to handle an almost limitless stream of data. This feeds directly into the memory architecture known as persistent context. This feature allows the artificial intelligence to act as a digital twin. It is not just remembering facts, it is understanding the evolution of your thoughts and projects over months and years. This persistent context is what truly sets Gemini 4 apart from the offerings of OpenAI and Apple. While rival companies have focused on making their models smarter in the moment, Google has focused on making Gemini smarter over time. The concept of a digital twin means your artificial intelligence companion becomes more valuable as it learns your voice and preferences. This creates a deeply personalized experience where the machine does not just respond to you, but grows with you. It understands your unique approach to problem solving and can anticipate the information you will need before you even ask for it. There is a strategic pause happening in the industry right now. As we reach the 7-minute mark of this countdown to the event, we have to acknowledge the tension between the tech giants. OpenAI has been the leader in public perception, but Google's massive infrastructure and data advantage are finally being leveraged to redefine the hierarchy. Apple is also in a precarious position. Their focus on-device privacy often limits the processing power available for complex reasoning. If Google can prove that Gemini 4 can handle personal data securely while providing massive cloud-powered reasoning, the competitive landscape will shift overnight. Beyond the software, there is a growing buzz around the secret hardware. Rumors are circulating about a dedicated Gemini wearable, a device that could potentially rival the phone. This would be a sensor-rich interface designed to give Gemini 4 a constant stream of visual and auditory input. This would allow the artificial intelligence to see and hear what you do, providing real-time assistance as you navigate the physical world. While Google has not officially confirmed such a device, the architecture of Gemini 4 seems perfectly suited for this kind of always-on integration across the global stream. Internal memos leaked from within Google suggest that the logic jumps observed during testing have been described as human-like. Developers have noted that the artificial intelligence often finds solutions to problems that were not explicitly programmed, suggesting emergent behavior. These logic jumps allow the system to anticipate needs before they are articulated. For example, if you are planning a trip, Gemini 4 might not just book your flights but also realize you need to renew your passport based on the destination. It connects the dots of your life in a way that feels intuitive rather than mechanical. As we prepare for the final days leading up to May 19, the focus is shifting toward what it can do for us. The reasoning engine, the infinite context, and the autonomous coding capabilities are all pieces of a larger puzzle. They are components of a system designed to be an essential part of our lives. The shift from a world where we use artificial intelligence to a world where we live alongside it is about to begin. Every leaked detail points toward a launch that will attempt to render the very concept of a chatbot obsolete. We are moving toward a true digital partner, and the technical foundation of Gemini 4 is the bedrock upon which this new reality will be built. The impact of these advancements extends far beyond the technical community. It reaches into the very way we structure our days and manage our responsibilities. By reducing the friction between thought and execution, Gemini 4 allows for a level of productivity that was previously the stuff of science fiction. If the system can truly maintain a persistent memory while making human-like logic jumps, it transforms from a simple utility into a cognitive extension of the user. This is the promise that has led to such intense scrutiny of the Mountain View headquarters as the clock continues to count down toward the official reveal. As the industry prepares for the massive shift, developers are already exploring how native multimodal processing will change application design. Instead of building interfaces for clicking and typing, the next generation of software will be built for seeing, hearing, and speaking. This transition is not just a hardware challenge, but a fundamental rethinking of how humans interact with digital systems. Google appears to be betting everything on the idea that we are ready for a more natural, fluid relationship with our devices, where the artificial intelligence is no longer a separate entity, but a seamless part of the user experience. The arrival of Gemini 4 signals a massive and irreversible reorganization of the global digital economy. We are witnessing the beginning of the end for the traditional software as a service model that has dominated the last 2 decades. For years, the tech world has been built on a foundation of fragmented and specialized applications. You have an application for your calendar, another for your emails, and yet another for your project management. Gemini 4 threatens to render this entire ecosystem redundant. With its infinite context window and the autonomous power of Project Oscar, the artificial intelligence can act as the singular glue that binds these tasks together. It does not just suggest an email response, it understands the deep context of a project from 2 years ago, writes the code for a new feature, and coordinates the deployment without the user ever opening a third-party tool. This centralization of power into a single agent is a terrifying prospect for many small to mid-sized software companies. They are finding that their core value proposition can now be replicated by a single prompt given to a Google agent. This shift brings us to a difficult and necessary conversation about the future of the job market. When an artificial intelligence can build, deploy, and maintain its own software, the fundamental nature of human labor changes. Software engineering is no longer primarily about the syntax of a specific programming language, but about the high-level architecture of logic. Project Oscar is the herald of this change. It allows individuals with no technical background to act as senior product managers, overseeing a fleet of autonomous agents that do the heavy lifting of development. While this democratizes the act of creation, it also places immense pressure on traditional professional roles. The question is no longer whether artificial intelligence will replace jobs, but how quickly the entire global workforce can adapt to a world where human oversight is the only remaining bottleneck. We are moving toward a post-coding era where the speed of innovation is limited only by the speed of our own ideas. Visualizing this transition requires us to look at a dramatic before and after comparison. Before, a digital project required a team of specialists and months of coordination. After May 19th, that same project can be initiated by a voice command and completed in minutes by a digital brain that never sleeps. However, this level of seamless integration comes with a heavy price in terms of personal privacy. The infinite memory of Gemini 4 is its greatest strength and simultaneously its most controversial feature. For the digital twin to function effectively, it must have total access to a lifetime of human interactions. It needs to remember your preferences, your past mistakes, and your personal relationships to provide relevant assistance. This creates a persistent context that is incredibly productive, but also raises significant red flags. We are essentially being asked to hand over the keys to our digital lives to a single massive corporation. The boundary between the user and the machine is blurring. If the artificial intelligence knows everything you have ever said or done within its ecosystem, it can predict your future actions with frightening accuracy. The debate over the next few years will not be about the technical capability of the hardware, but about the ethics of such total surveillance in exchange for convenience. As we approach the final days before the event in Mountain View, there is one more thing that could change the way we interact with reality itself. Speculation is reaching a fever pitch regarding a surprise integration with Android 17. Rumors suggest that Google is planning to move beyond the traditional mobile operating system entirely. Imagine a user interface that is completely conversational. No more grids of colorful icons, no more searching through complex menus. Android 17 could be the first operating system in history that is entirely powered by Gemini 4. Your phone becomes a physical vessel for your digital twin. It would be a radical departure from the way we have used smartphones since the original launch of the mobile revolution. This would turn the device from a portal into a constant companion that anticipates your needs based on your physical location and the real-time data from your environment. The competitive landscape is already reacting to this possibility with a mix of fear and urgency. OpenAI and Apple are being forced to rethink their entire product roadmaps in the shadow of this launch. The 50% reduction in latency that Google has achieved with Gemini 4 has created a performance gap that is incredibly difficult to bridge. If the user experience is fluid and instantaneous, the friction of using any other platform becomes a major deterrent for the average consumer. We are seeing a winner-take-all dynamic emerge in the artificial intelligence race. Google's advantage lies in its ability to combine massive cloud infrastructure with a deep integration into our daily lives through Search, Gmail, and the Android operating system. This creates a competitive moat that is nearly impossible for rivals to cross without a similar level of vertical integration and data access. As the clock ticks down to May 19, 2026, the tension across the tech industry is palpable. We are standing at the edge of a fundamental shift in the human experience. The transition from artificial intelligence as a simple tool to artificial intelligence as a fully realized agent is the most significant technological leap since the invention of the internet. The world we wake up to on May 20th will be one where the barriers between human thought and digital execution have effectively disappeared. We will no longer be typing into boxes or clicking on buttons. We will be collaborating with a cognitive partner that knows us as well as we know ourselves. This is the promise and the peril of the Gemini 4 era. The artificial intelligence race just hit a dead end for the competition. The era of guessing what comes next is behind us. Now we have to ask the hard questions. Are you ready to hand over your memory to Google? Are you prepared for a digital twin that remembers everything you have ever forgotten? Tell me in the comments below how you feel about this transition. This is not just another tech update. It is a rewriting of the social contract between humans and machines. Our next video will be a direct breakdown from the Google I/O floor, where we will get our first hands-on look at these systems in action. The era of predicting the future is over. On May 19th, we start living in it.